Morning everyone, how are you? Welcome again. I'm sorry for the inconvenience, since I've shifted to a new place, for around 7 or 8 days, I'll be in Hyderabad. So two of the fellow, colleagues are moving in front of me. They have to go through the camera. So they were moving like snakes. So I had a smile for that. Good morning everyone. Welcome to 7th of January, and sorry for the delay. I think it's the initial 1 or 2 days, it happens. It was happening in Bangalore. But today I think the color of the slide is much better. So we have worked upon it, and I think by tomorrow the timings and everything would also be worked out. So good morning and welcome to 7th January. Let's move towards the news. So first of all, OGP 2026 batch has already started. You can still take enrollment if you're preparing for UPSC examination, civil services examination, and you want the guidance of Vinay sir. So this course is under the founder and director of Insights IAS. Okay, Insights IAS, and the Vinay sir is the founder and director of Insights IAS. This course is, totally made under his guidance, and which would be really guide you for your upcoming GS, CSAT, NSA and OGP. As you know, it's the topmost program of Insights IAS. Now moving towards the thought of the day. The thought of the day is, strength does not come from winning. Your struggles develop your strengths. When you go through hardship and decide not to surrender, that is strength. So this was said by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Obviously every one of us do like success. But if you currently see what happened in the BGT, that is Border Gavaskar Trophy, India-Australian tour. So it was a very bad series for most of the batsmen, for Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, and today if you open, even the fan pages of Virat Kohli are questioning that, how he is getting out again and again on the same edge outside the off stump. Or some people are also saying that, if Virat Kohli had 2 children, the name of the children would be Edge and Taken. Obviously, this is a meme and this is a joke. So people are harshly criticizing him. To an extent, that is correct also, because, he kept getting out the same fashion, and, the Australians did not have to do anything. So now, why I'm taking the example of Virat Kohli, he was one of the most successful batsmen in Australia. Under him, we won the BGT series, and he has seen a tremendous amount of success, and Rohit Sharma has just seen the tremendous amount of success. Both of them 6 months back in 2024 were being celebrated for winning the T20 World Cup in 2024. But today everyone is harshly criticizing them, specifically for the red ball cricket. Red ball is the test match one, white ball we play for that one day international and T20s. Now they are being criticized. They are very harshly criticized. To an extent it might be right also. Now there are two things. Either both of them can give up, or either both of them starts working or honing on their skills, find the solution, and move forward. So I'm giving these two examples because they are currently in the news. Everyone is talking about Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, PR and whatnot. In this context, either they both have achieved a huge amount of success, but this is a struggle which will make them even stronger. So it's up to them what they do. Similarly, it is for us that if we are not able to clear our prelims, UPSC mains or any part of the examination, either we give up or either we succeed. Certain times in our life we get success at a very fast rate, and or success at a very early age. So we are accustomed to getting success, and once we get a failure, we are not able to accept it because we got a success at a very earlier age. It is very important to realize that sometimes the success will come, sometimes failure will come, but the learning in a failure, the learning under the struggles would be very high, which would really help you out. Okay. So moving further into this, important news editorial: US to remove Indian entities from restriction list, says Jake Sullivan. Okay, so he's the National Security Advisor of America. He's in India. He met Prime Minister. He met the External Affairs Minister. So removing some of the entities from the restricted list. This is basically enhancing the India-US nuclear deal, which was signed at that time between George Bush and the late and former Prime Minister of India, Manmohan Singh. The troubling history of UK's grooming gang. This is coming on every international news. Grooming gangs. These are nothing grooming gangs. These are basically grooming gangs for rapes, and mostly British Pakistani men are behind it. Most of the news are circulating around this, and I wanted to bring this topic. I did not find this news in The Hindu. I got this news from Indian Express, but most, Palki ma'am has covered it, and most of the international geopolitics is talking about it. Even Elon Musk has spoken about the grooming gangs. So I wanted that you guys are also updated about it. So leaves flutter in space, ISRO's experiment reaches milestone. In UPSC prelims impact, Jammu Baramulla line, Prime Minister has done a virtual inauguration of it. So we'll talk about this. Then editorial, enhancing governments in the digital way, how digitization is happening, how digital way and digitization has helped the Indian governance system, what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, and what can be the way ahead. This is an important editorial for today which we would be discussing. Okay, so moving further into this. So US to remove Indian entities from restricted list, says Jake Sullivan. So External Affairs Minister S. J. Shankar with the US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. Okay, so he is in India, and this is the last outgoing visit of the National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. So why I am saying outgoing visit, last outgoing visit, because Jake Sullivan is National Security Advisor under the Joe Biden administration. On 20th of Jan, you know, the Trump administration would be taking over. Trump will, the ceremony for, or he would be taking over the seat of president on 20th of January 2025. So till around 19, these people have the, you know, all the administration and everything. And right now, Biden is not taking big decisions. Obviously, you know, 15, 20 days are left, not even 15. I think it's around, we already around 7, so around 12 days are left of his presidency. So not major steps are being taken. So this is the last outgoing visit of Jake Sullivan or the Biden administration. The National Security Advisor came and met. And it is also very important that the India, be it the outgoing or the incoming administration, we need to be in good terms with both of them. Because in the next elections after 4 years in America, it might be that the Biden administration, or for that, Democrats can come back to power. Right now, Republicans under Donald Trump are in the power, which will be coming, you know, they'll be taking over the power on 20th of Jan 2025. But the outgoing Democrat Party or the presidency of Joe Biden, it's important to have good terms with that, and that is why these meetings happen, because in, you know, in politics, or even for that matter in international relations, they are not permanent enemies, they are not permanent friends, only permanent interest. So that is how it moves, the cycle moves. So Jake Sullivan, US National Security Advisor, announced that the US is finalizing step to remove Indian scientific and nuclear entities from a restricted list. So these were put under the restricted list, and because of this, many US or American companies were not able to do business or deals with the Indian entities. So it's a very positive step. It is a very good step with the Americans. This move aims to enhance civil nuclear cooperation, which was basically signed in 2008 between under the India-US nuclear deal between George Bush, who was then President of America, and Indian Prime Minister at that point of time was Manmohan Singh. Recently, we had covered the news. Manmohan Singh sir had expired, and in December we had also, in detail had covered that news also. So if you have not gone through that news, you can also go through the previous decodes and cover it. So US Biden administration views this as an opportunity to resolve past frictions and foster collaboration between US companies and Indian nuclear entities. So in a way, it's a forward looking, very good. Space and nuclear sectors are also under the screening of more collaboration between the two countries. See, it was also said that in America, be Democrats come, or for that matter, even if Republicans come, more 80 to 90% of the America-Indian policy would remain same. Yes, under the Trump, there can be an issue of tariffs, or there can be more, strengthening of relationship in terms of, say, defense or geopolitics or Quad or the other arenas. But mostly when it comes to India-US defense and strategic relationship, it remains 80 to 90% same. It will not change, because America realizes from the point of view India, that India is a very important country in South Asia, in Southeast Asia, and from the perspective of China +1 policy also, very important word I am using, China +1 policy. And I would want that most of you please write in the comment section or in the comment, what is China +1 strategy? So what is China +1 strategy? Please write it. So from a perspective of China +1 strategy, from a perspective of handling China, from a perspective of Southeast Asia, from perspective of South Asia, India is a very important country from the point of view of democracy, business, strategic interest for Americans, and even for that matter, Europeans. So the NSA Jake Sullivan emphasized greater involvement of US private sector scientists and technologies with Indian entities. And if you have heard, we had also covered that news that India and the America under the national security, we also have this sharing of the critical technologies. First it would be shared between the between India and US, and later it can move towards NATO and the Europe also. So we would be sharing critical technologies also, India and US, towards each other. So in this context, it's a very positive step which has been taken. Okay, so civil nuclear cooperation, the removal of restriction will eliminate barriers preventing US companies from partnering with Indian nuclear entities. Sullivan described this move as an effort to address past friction and expand opportunities for India and US private sector scientists and technology. The Biden administration sees this as a step toward greater cooperation in civil nuclear projects. So obviously it is a more cooperation will happen between India and the Americans. The Jake Sullivan, the NSA, also met External Affairs Minister, Prime Minister Modi, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. That was 100% that he would be meeting the National Security Advisor. There was no doubt about that. Okay, so that was 100% he would be meeting. So discussion with the National Security Advisor highlighted the updates on US missile exports policies under the MTCR. Now MTCR is something which UPSC had asked previously also. So Wassenaar arrangement, MTCR. So MTCR is your missile technology control regime. India became part of this in 2016. So as the word suggests, missile technology control regime. So this is those missile or that missile technology under which these missiles can be used for chemical warfare, biological warfare or nuclear warfare. In this context, India is a part of MTCR in 2016, and the goal of this missile technology control regime, which is mostly an informal group, it is a multilateral export control regime whose members have informal political understanding to limit the proliferation of missile and missile technology which can be used for chemical, biological and nuclear warfare. And India became part of this in 2016. This was already being asked by UPSC in prelims. So very important, you need to know what is MTCR. Okay, now moving to the next important news. The troubling history of UK's grooming gangs and politics surrounding it. Now this news is, thank you Parikshit and thank you Namita. Welcome to the Daily Decodes. So now we are moving towards the UK grooming gangs. So this word grooming gangs might sound like grooming for something good. No, this is basically grooming gangs which assault mostly British women, mostly British white women who are in these foster homes, and they are being harassed. This is basically these grooming gangs are like sexual exploiting vultures which exploited these women, and multiple rapes have been done, and most importantly nothing has been done by the government in the UK. So in UK there are two major parties, one is Labour and the others are Conservatives. So currently it is a Labour party under the Prime Ministership of Keir Starmer, and Elon Musk is continuously criticizing Keir Starmer government that you are not taking any actions against these sexual predators which are basically British Pakistani men. And one of the reason he is saying is that because British Pakistani men are a very important vote bank of Labour party, and that is why Keir Starmer is not taking a strong action against them. Even important tweets have come from J.K. Rowling, who wrote the the Harry Potter books, and the previous or the former prime ministers of UK have also commented. Rishi Sunak had also created a committee or a organization to see into this, but as you know, Rishi Sunak is no more the prime minister of the United UK. So these are the currently which is going on. Oh, so let's move towards it. So what are grooming gangs? This refers to the network of abusers who target young girls, often using, so they will give, so young girls, these are in foster homes or breakaway, or they are not attached to their families, or they don't have any families, so they might be living single, they might not be having family. So these British Pakistani men What they try to do is that they try to approach these girls, they'll try to give them gifts, initially gifts, then they'll probably give them, expensive gifts, then they might give them alcohol, then they might give them cigarettes and drugs. And once all these sexual predators, these girls are under the trap of these sexual predators, then they will exploit them sexually. Multiple rapes will be done by these people. So young girl often using alcohol, drugs and gifts to manipulate them before sexually exploiting them. This is not one instance. Many parts and many areas of UK have come under this, and now it has become an international news. So most of the time the Labour Party wanted that this news does not come out, but after a tweet of Elon Musk, he tweeted about Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of UK, and then about this news, and now it is all over the globe. Everyone is talking about it. So victims are often vulnerable children in state care or from broken homes, and that is why they become a good vulnerable target for these men. So the issue has received significant media attention, public concern due to high profile cases linked to ethnic minorities, particularly British Pakistani men, though this connection remains debated. That many of them say that, that there is no proof that the British Pakistani men are behind it. There might be British white men who can also be behind this. But what we are getting to know is that the current Labour Party are trying to save these British Pakistani men because they form a very important vote bank. It is very similar to what Justin Trudeau was trying to save Khalistanis. But we already know what happened with Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau is bye-bye. Justin Trudeau is gone. We are not covering Justin Trudeau news today because I wanted to cover this. So Justin Trudeau has said goodbye, tata, bye, tata, bye-bye, good night, good off, everything is done. And within 1 to 2 months, new leader of that party would be coming out. But, Trudeau was trying to play within India, and you very well know what happened with Trudeau. So probably Keir Starmer has also very tough days in the coming time. So billionaire Elon Musk accused UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer for failing to address grooming gangs and called for safeguarding Minister Jess Phillips to be jailed for refusing to government inquiry into child abuse at Oldham. So Oldham is also an area where this child abuse news has also come out. And there's also one reason that the Elon Musk is supporting the right-wing party. So there might be political connection or political motivations for Elon Musk to also do this. So critics argue Musk comments are politically motivated because he is supporting the right-wing party, like he is also supporting an AfD party, which is a right-wing party in Germany also. Because at the end of the day, Donald Trump, Republicans are also a right-wing party. So he is trying to support those parties which might be in favor of Elon Musk or his business in future. So critics argue Musk comments were politically motivated, aiming to bolster the far-right Reform UK party. So Reform UK party is there, then Conservatives are there, and then your Labour Party. Currently in the power is the Labour Party. So Labour Party led by Starmer has faced accusation of abandoning victims, that rather than doing something about victims, rather than doing something about the victims, trying to get them justice, they are doing nothing. No committee has been done. Everyone is asking for a committee which looks into the charges, national level committee, but nothing is being happening. While the Conservatives have used the issue to criticize the Labour stance, obviously the opposition will get one more issue to criticize them. So in 2023, over 1.5 lakh sexual offences against children were reported in UK, with 3.7% being group-based crime. That means a group was involved. It can be British Pakistani men or white men also. So of this, 26 occurred within the families, 26%, 17%. So 26% occurred within families, 17% involved groups, including grooming gangs. This is the one which the news is all about. And 9% in institutions like schools and religious places. Can you believe in schools and religious places the sexual crimes are happening? So as a society, where are they heading? So our task force was set up in 2023 by then Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, arrested over 550 suspects in first year. But as you know, he is no more the Prime Minister of the UK. He is no more the Prime Minister. So obviously the task force did a very good work. But since Rishi Sunak is not there, in terms of being the Prime Minister, things are not looking good. So these are some of the high profile cases which came from grooming gangs. So first is Rochdale case, that is from 2004 to 2013. 9 perpetrators and 9 accused who were eventually convicted. 8 were British. So 8 out of 9 were British Pakistani men behind it. So it's, it's very difficult to comprehend Pakistanis. First of all, they are doing nothing in their country, and what they are exporting to the world are rapists or beggars. Beggars are being transported to Saudi Arabia, and now rapists are being transported to UK. So victims were drugged. See, first of all, they were drugged, and then they were raped multiple times, raped above takeaway shops, over takeaway shops, and transported via taxis, and then sent to the different customers. So this was eventually the modus operandi or the business which was going on. Authorities failed to act despite clear evidence of abuse. So definitely there has been governments who have not taken action, maybe because the police was working in tandem with them, or maybe there was money which was involved, or bribe which was involved, or maybe there might be a case that government did not want to take action because the Pakistani community would be a very important vote bank for them, or Muslims from this community would be an important vote bank for them, and many of the Pakistani or Muslim MPs are part of the current government also. So Rotherham case, that is 1997 to 2013. So Professors Alexei J 2014 report revealed 1400 children were exploited. Victims, mostly white girls, were threatened with violence. They were threatened with violence. Perpetrators were predominantly of Pakistani heritage. So again, in the Rotherham case, either you take the Rochdale case, Rotherham case, mostly the perpetrators or the accused or finally the guilty people, they have been Pakistani men, British Pakistani men. So obviously the ticking of the clock or the angle is moving towards British Pakistani men. Now the Oldham case, this is 2011 to 2014. Independent review in 2022 found no evidence of a cover-up, but highlighted local authorities' failure to protect the children, and public demands for an inquiry was growing. But how is that the local authorities were not taking action? If the government is saying if there is no cover-up, then why local authorities were not taking an action? And what was eventually the result? If so much of crime, 1400, 1500, 1600 crimes are coming, and not more than 200 or 400 people are put behind the bars, it's not, it's not great at all. So Telford and other cities, similar grooming networks have been uncovered in Oxford, Bristol, Telford, raising public alarm over administrative failures. So this is a major problem which is happening in UK right now. So if the similar problem would have occurred in India, there would have been a hue cry, international media would have been writing about it. But if it is happening in UK, if it is happening in London and various other areas, see, international media is not criticizing them at the same time if they would have done to India. See what is happening. So currently if you see Germany doesn't have a proper and a functioning government. Same is the case of Canada. If same thing happens in India, you can very well know how international media will write it. But same Canada, you hardly have a functioning government. Syria, then you say Germany, and even the case in France is not looking very good right now either. So ethnic framing and misrepresentation. So Professor J's 2014 report highlighted reluctance among council staff to identify perpetrators' ethnic origin for fear or being labelled racist. So this professor's report in 2014, it is continuously saying that the government was not taking action to find out these perpetrators from which community, because these were basically Pakistani men, and they did not do this because they become racist or they might be they might be labeled as Islamophobic. But the fact remains, be it Islamophobic or anyone, if they are Pakistani men, they are Pakistani men. The crime, the law will not look, the law cannot put a blind eye that, they are from a different community and, and we might be labeled or, or put a brand on us that, that we are Islamophobic. And this is exactly Professor J in 2014 was talking about, because they become these Muslims and the Islamic community is a very important vote bank for the Keir Starmer government. Right now, in 2023, the Home Secretary Suella Braverman claimed that almost all grooming gang offenders were British Pakistani, but later clarification studies refuted this as unfounded. Now, which studies? Which studies are we talking about, and who funded these studies? Was it funded by the Labour Party only because they wanted to save the vote bank? This is also something which we need to go in details to understand it. A UK Home Office report found no sufficient evidence to link ethnicity to group-based crime, and rather this, this office report. Now this is UK Home Office report. That is their Home Minister, or the, like we have Ministry of Home Affairs, they have UK Home Office. So UK Home Office report will only write what their government wants them to write. So the legitimacy of this report can be highly questioned, because the UK Home Office report would only be writing what the government of, be it the Keir Starmer government or Rishi Sunak government, it would be only writing what the government wants to them, right? So we can always question it. But as per this report, there was over-representation of black and Asian offenders. Right now, see, they are writing Asian offenders, they are not even writing the Pakistani. The majority of child sexual abuse perpetrators were white. So majority of majority of child sexual abuser perpetrators were white. So for now they are using color, but when they are talking about black and the Asian offenders, they are not even telling which Asian offender are you talking about. Okay. So concern over misinformation. Researchers want that the linking ethnicity to grooming gangs, perpetrators, racism, division and misinformation. This is also one of the things that, this is misinformation that they might be Pakistani men. Data quality issues and potential biases in collecting ethnicities. Most importantly, the problem is that local authorities are not collecting the information from which ethnicity they are, because they might be thinking that they might be labeled as racist or Islamophobic for that matter. Political and administrative challenges, resistance to comprehensive investigation. So this is a major challenge which has been, or major accusation which has been put against Labour Party. So Labour refusal for national inquiry cases like Oldham has sparked criticism. Conservatives claim that political correctness, that means they don't want it to be labeled as racist or Islamophobic, and they want the support of the Pakistani community for their vote bank, has allowed perpetrators to escape justice. And this is a major problem, that because of your political correctness, so many girls have suffered and you have not taken a single good decision. Okay. So victims' experiences, victims have often been blamed or shamed for their abuse. Just imagine, victims have been shamed and abused. Rather, the perpetrator should be shamed and, not abused. That should be taken to the law. But just see what is happening with victims. Independent reviews and inquiries reveal a systematic failure to listen to victims or act on their complaints, and this has been the major problem in UK. Nothing has been done for victims, rather they have been shamed, they have been abused. That, just imagine that you are a person who has been affected by sexual crimes. Rather than helping you, you are being shamed, and if you are going to authorities or law, you are rather being abused by them. So this is a very shameful act which is happening in UK, and this also tells the crisis, the current crisis which is happening in the local police authorities in United Kingdom. Independent reviews and inquiry reveal that a systematic failure is there, and a government may also be behind this. So task force and policy measures needs to be done. For example, Rishi Sunak 2023 task force aim to address political correctness and ensure accountability. Things need to be fast tracked on this, and most importantly, improve training for local authorities, strengthening child protection measures, and a national committee, national level task force or a committee needs to look into this, or a public inquiry needs to look into this. So national level public inquiry needs to look into this. Now let's move to the next important news. This is a small news. Leaves flutter in space, ISRO's experiment reaches milestone. So this news is more from a perspective of prelims only. Okay. So basically there were cow pea seeds. Okay. So a batch of cow pea seeds which were taken into the orbit, by ISRO mission, and which recently sprouted has unveiled their first leaves. So these cowpea seeds have sprouted, basically they have sprouted and the new leaves have come. Now this news becomes important. The cowpea seeds, which seeds were taken? Cowpea seeds were taken, and which was the, which was which was the PSLV? The PSLV was PSLV C60 Poem 4, and leaves have emerged on VSSCC's crops compact research module for orbital plant studies. So as we are talking about that India is interested in its own space station in the space, and we want to do more interplanetary studies and everything. From the point of view of that, these kind of experiments and successful experiments are very important for us. So the crop payload developed by Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, that is why it is called VSSC, is envisioned as a multi-phase platform to develop and evolve ISRO's capabilities for growing and sustaining flora in extraterrestrial environment. And it also showing how in the space and extraterrestrial environment, India is a growing nation. Okay, yes, it was shown in the Martian also. Correct. I think it was something around potatoes. Potatoes he does in that movie. Okay, now we move towards the UPSC prelims impact news. So this is related to Udhampur Srinagar Baramulla railway ring, and recently the Prime Minister, it had come in today's Hindu also, that it is a monumental step that Jammu and Kashmir integration into the national railway network. So it is also called Jammu Baramulla link, or it is also called Udhampur Srinagar Baramulla railway link, which is also known as USBRL. Now this USBRL or Jammu Baramulla link, they are same things. The Chenab bridge we talk about also forms part of this, and a lot of prelims based question can come from this. So USBRL project involves the construction of a railway line from Udhampur to Baramulla, joining Kashmir Valley with the Indian railway network. Now this seems to be a, it is not much of a distance. This is around 272 kilometers, but for constructing these 272 kilometers, multiple tunnels and bridges have to be made, and it has required an immense amount of infrastructure and top-notch engineering from India. So it aims to connect Kashmir to the rest of the country and give a push to development in the valley, because once the railway connection happens between rest of the part of the country with Kashmir, I am telling you the amount of visitors in Kashmir will increase like anything, and that is why this project is very, very important. Total length is 272 kilometers. The project was declared national project in 2002. So you can just imagine more than 22 years have passed, because now obviously 23 also, but since we have just entered 2025, so I'm saying 22 years. Okay, the alignment of USBRL involves construction of large number of tunnels, multiple bridges in highly rugged and mountainous terrain, and that is why this is a very, very important and a national project. So if you see, this is that I'm talking about the Chenab bridge, this is that iconic bridge, and then also Indian Railways first cable stayed bridge is also being constructed on Anjing Khad. So on Anjing Khad is important, Chenab bridge is important, and that is why, again, it's a marvelous construction. So the project involves 38 tunnels, see 38 tunnels, and the longest tunnel T49 will be the country's longest transportation tunnel. It is not an underwater tunnel, just to tell you, if a question can come in your prelims, an underwater tunnel, it is not an underwater tunnel, okay. So longest tunnel T49, it would be the country's longest transportation tunnel. There are 927 numbers of bridges. These bridges include the iconic Chenab bridge, which you can see behind me, which will be the highest bridge in the world, which would be the highest railway bridge in the world. It would be the highest railway bridge. This word is important, railway bridge. A question can come, bridge. It is not bridge, highest railway bridge in the world. So these are certain important facts. And then the cable stayed bridge being constructed on Anjing Khad. So Anjing Khad is important, Chenab bridge is important, world highest railway bridge is important, longest tunnel T49 of India, country's longest transportation tunnel is important. And what it is called? It is called USBRL project, Udhampur Srinagar Baramulla railway project, or it is also known as Jammu Baramulla line, and obviously it would be connecting with the rest of the railways. Okay, now the Pragati batch, which is covering the full syllabus of KPSC mains, is starting on 15th January. And if you are only looking for you are looking for KPSC mains test series, you can join the Pratyush batch also. For all details, you can call on the number 8069 40 5206. Okay, let's move towards the editorial. So it's a wonderful editorial today that talks about enhancing governance the digital way. So it has been written by a 2015 batch Civil Services IRS who has completed her Masters in Public Policy, and then Venkatesh Raghavendra, a global social entrepreneur. So it is coming from someone in the civil services also, in the bureaucracy also, and someone who has also been part of global research. And this is coming on digitization, a very important article, very important editorial for all of us. Okay. So moving into this, so enhancing governance the digital way, India's journey towards digital governance. So India is undertaking a significant digital transformation in governance, aiming to improve both citizen services efficient of government employees. So lot of steps have been taken from the digitization point of view. If you see, multiple things today are, from Delhi government, or since we are talking mostly about central government, multiple things. If you want to form a company, if you want to put your papers, if you want to do e-governance, multiple steps have been taken, and Digital India is one of the flagship schemes of the current government also. So despite substantial progress, challenges are still there. Governance, a complex decision-making web involving diverse stakeholders, requires integration of digital tool for effective modernization. So governance can become better with digital, because if, for example, earlier people used to stand in long number of lines, and then used to be a lot of paperwork which used to be there. There used to be red tapeism, there used to be stalemate, there used to be bribery and everything. You see today how it is easy to get a passport. You go back 15-20 years back, it was so difficult. There were touts. Similarly, I've seen, it is easy to get a license today compared to the yester years when people used to give a lot of bribe and money to just pass the test. So things are changing. Digitization is helping, because you're putting papers, there is no person who is trying to cheat you, who is asking for a bribe. In this way, systems have become smoother and much better. So drawing from Chanakya's principle of governance and Arthashastra, the focus lines are on statecraft, economic policy and ethical leadership, which remains relevant in shaping governance. So some of the important schemes under the government of India: I Got Karm Yogi platform, very, very important scheme, I Got Karm Yogi. So under this, it is provided training in data analytics, public administration and digital technologies, and the government personalities, or not personalities, government person, it encourages learning path for continuous improvement and adaptability, because the government employees or people being part of the government, it is very important for them also to upgrade their standard, to upgrade their knowledge, to upgrade their skill sets, because as technology is evolving, they also need to evolve. And since the focus of the government is much more towards artificial intelligence, it has become even more paramount. Okay. So in this context, it is quite important. So e-office initiative streamline workflows and reduces paperwork by automatic file management and grievance redressal mechanism. So see, automatic file management, grievance redressal mechanisms are there where you can put your grievances. Enhances real-time communication and transparency, that what is being done on your grievances and what steps have been taken, so you are continuously updated. For example, I'll just tell that recently I forgot something on the airport. So, and eventually I made some phone calls and everything is working on the mail. Obviously, if you know someone and if you know someone in the security, they really help you out, there is no doubt. But today you have this online systems, I'm talking about Delhi airport. So, that this good governance or this digitization is helping in every way, from the mails to app where you can put your grievances. So, government e-marketplace digitizes procurement process. So if you want to sell something to the government, from chairs to different things, you can put your products on this e-marketplace and government can procure your things, if obviously it matches the tender needs. Then you have digital literacy program, focus on e-government tools, cyber security and digital communication, so that the employees' overall knowledge also increases. Okay. So challenges in digital governance, resistance to change. Now the point is that whenever digitization is happening, the old employees, the new employees, the major problem does not come because they are equipped with the latest technology. They have been part of this technological revolution. But the older generation or the older employees, they are very reluctant, or the bureaucracy is very reluctant to accept new ideas. Bureaucracy by itself, the word, it is reluctant to change. Okay. So bureaucratic inertia is there, readiness level among employees, it's not there, we need to push it. So need for tailored training and support to bridge this gap. For example, a new bureaucrat, he might need less training, but an old bureaucrat or a person in bureaucracy or the government, old person, not I'm talking in terms of age, I'm talking in the experience of say 10 or 15 years of experience. So he has done that register and paperwork, he might not be used to this digitization and computer and apps. So you need to have a different kind of a training. A person who has just entered the organization, who has been using WhatsApp, Instagram, ChatGPT, for him to learn the new technology is relatively easy compared to a person who has been working for 15-20 years and not been part of the latest technological relevant changes. So you need to design different tailored training programs for both of them. So effectiveness of training program, like I got Karm Yogi now has become only attendance that people go, they log into the things, but they are not listening, they are not learning, that is only become an attendance program. So you need to make sure that there is an accountability that the learning also happens. Okay, so success lies in translating training into real world application, providing opportunities to utilize new skills. For example, if they are learning a new programs on data analytics, but that organization is doing nothing on data analytics, there is no project on data analytics, there is no incentivization. So if there is something project, then people would be, or the employees would be much more interested in doing that project, and there is a real time world application of it. So it can be a project, it can be a rural project, it can be a urban project, depending upon which organization you are part of. So digital divide, limited access to high speed internet, this needs to be increased. Cyber security concerns are there that no data breaches happen, specifically as we move towards digitization. So cyber security needs to be strengthened. Need for continuous learning, rapid advancement in technology is happening, rapid advancements in artificial intelligence is happening. So it's important that our advancement also happens. So a perspective of future, so foundation has been established, the government has taken the initiative, the platform has been made. Now we are on a very good runway, we just need to take off and continue with greater speeds. So what can be future steps? Strengthening infrastructure and ensuring universal access, promoting culture of continuous learning, addressing cyber security risk. So these are certain areas which we need to work upon. So evaluate the challenges and opportunities presented by digital governance in India. Suggest measure to enhance its effectiveness. This is the UPSC mains questions. You can go through it. Guys, you're not liking and sharing the session. I keep saying please like and share the session. So USBRL project, this is that Jammu Baramulla project, was declared a national project in 2002, correct? Chenab Bridge, part of the USBRL, is the highest railway bridge in the world, correct? Tunnel 49 is for 49, T49 is the longest tunnel in this project, will be first India's, not underwater, it's not underwater. Third statement is wrong. India's railways first cable stayed bridge is being constructed on Anji Khad as a part of USBRL project. So 1 to 4 are the correct statements. Okay, so and in the extra mile you can go through the end of the global climate policy and Insights ICANN 2.0. This also comes on Insights, you can YouTube channel. So thank you very much for today. I hope you did learn. Tomorrow we'll meet again at 10 a.m. and I think number of students are coming less. Ask your friends and everyone to come on time because the sessions have started. Prelim exam is coming, so don't miss these sessions specifically or for coming exams. Thank you very much.